This is the one question I just cannot wait to ask, and I'm so ready. Is the Traitors still one of your favorite shows?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So think about all the military influencers or podcasters, however you want to phrase that. Which which military influencers would you put on that show?
I love this because this is something I do in my brain to try to fall asleep at night is to like create my own perfect Bravo show or like my own perfect Bachelor show. This is so much fun. Ooh, okay. So military influencer. We got to put
Right. Here we go. Time is the only currency you spend without ever knowing your balance. My guest in this episode of Passing the Torch is Jenna Carlton, the founder of the Millennial Veteran and the podcast Vet Chats. I love what she's accomplishing. I get tongue tied. I love what she is accomplishing. Jenna utilizes her voice and platforms to engage in conversations with other veterans, focusing on their experiences and perspectives. Her Instagram page reaches millions of veterans per month and provides a space to openly discuss the emotional side of transitioning out of the military. Jenna does an amazing job of blending personal stories, insights, and discussions about challenges and triumphs faced by veterans, particularly from a millennial viewpoint. Her aim is to foster understanding and community among veterans while highlighting issues relevant to their lives and experiences. If that's not enough, she is also a monthly columnist for Task and Purpose, as well as the author of the Veteran Workbook. And I'm going to link all that in the show notes. A journal style book to help veterans reflect on service and plan for a successful future. This episode of Passing the Torch will help veterans find their way and work as an initial guide for transitioning people writing a new chapter in their life. Without further ado, Passing the Torch with military veteran Jenna Carlton starts now. First and foremost, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. How was that intro? Did you like that quote? Well, there's a lot of questions right away.
I like that quote. That's very jarring because I think that's something we don't think about a lot. Like, time is the only currency that we don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't know. You don't think of it as currency, but it absolutely is. I actually have this app on my phone, and so anytime I want to go on Instagram, Facebook, any of it, I have to press it and it makes you take a deep breath in and out, and then it gives you some quote to make you reflect like how you're
Hmm.
spending your time. And one of them says is like time is money, and I'm like, yeah. And then sometimes I say no, I actually don't need to scroll like but but it just gives you that thought like it really is.
Not a good deal. Please tell us a story about the worst Uber driver ever. And if that doesn't ring a bell, then yeah.
That is so funny. Okay, so yeah, I think it was just last year, me and my husband and our really good friend Steve, we were going from his house and we're leaving his neighborhood. Like he lives in like kind of a suburban neighborhood. And this Uber driver's just like flying by. And so Steve, he's from North Jersey, he's like, whoa, man, like, can you watch the speed? And the guy just like looks at us and gives us this crazy look of like, don't tell me how to drive. And then, Steve plays it off. He's like, oh, you're coming from DC. I know they got the crazy drives up there, but it's like, more slow here. There's kids running around. And so we're supposed to go to this winery, and he's like flying over speed bumps. He brings us to like somebody's house. It's not the winery. So we give him another address, and it's wrong again, and he won't even bring us. He brings us to the middle of nowhere, and we're like, this isn't it. And he's like, I have to let you out. This is where the address brought me. And we're like, can you just bring us up like the road to the driveway at least? And he wouldn't do it. Oh, it was just so embarrassing. Embarrassing.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. And I think you made a video about it or something, or maybe a post because I had it in my notes, and I was like, I'm going to ask
That's
her about that.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that I know there's crazier stories, but it was just because we lived in Southern Maryland, like stuff like that never
Yeah.
happens.
I mean, and because how long have you lived in Jersey now?
Oh, on maybe 6, 7 months,
Yeah, it
eight
still
months.
feels pretty recent. Just from I know you've been sharing your journey and all that. But with that,
Yes.
why is life great right now?
Oh, life's great because I get to like my job for the nonprofit, my part-time job is literally planning events for women veterans and their children to help get them out, find community, camaraderie, healing. It's so much fun. Every month I get to plan 2 events, and
Nice.
I have like full control over what I want to plan and where I want to be. It's so cool, and it just creates so much collaboration. It's helped me meet some great women. I found a mentor here up in Jersey and everything. It's awesome.
Nice. You mentioned the word collaboration. I'm going to tie that into how in the hell did you get Bryan Cranston for an interview? Because it blew my mind, and I think I messaged you right away, and I think I said in all caps, like, how the hell did you make this happen? But
Right. Oh my gosh, and my stupid clock. It's one of those bird clocks. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
no,
Probably at your grandma's house, but every hour like
it's
it
perfect.
it does another bird sound and it's
That's
going off
the
right now.
name of this episode is the the bird clock with Jenna Carlton.
Anyone who's listening and you know someone that has a bird clock, like
Yeah.
it's probably your grandma. And why do I have one? Cuz it's ironic, it's funny. Um but so Melinda Jefferson, she does a lot for the Capitol Fourth. They do concerts and stuff at the Capitol, and they will get big celebrities and they'll want to promote them. And she asked me if I wanted to do interviews to help promote it, and I was like, of course,
Yeah.
like yes. And that's how I got. It was really just a 2 questions I could ask him, but he was so present and just so generous with how long he gave answers. He's a great person.
No, like, and you really have evolved as an interviewer. Because it seemed like I don't for maybe a couple years you were posting doing live episodes every single week, and I didn't watch all of them, but I tried to catch as many as I could, or at least the replays. But yeah, you really have evolved as an interviewer and just a conversationalist. Yeah, just want to give you that positive feedback.
Thank you. And it's an art, as you've learned over the years. It's a give and a take. It's a dance. It's
Yeah,
oh shit, I forgot my next question. Let's improvise.
that's where I feel like I've really because I used to always have like set questions, and then I just sometimes I would just maybe have one question or two questions lined up, and then just go with the flow of the organic conversation. And there's actually a question I talked about Andrew Bustamante. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's a former Air Force intelligence officer, and he turned into a CIA spy. And it's just this whole thing. But during the interview, I think I just had like one question lined up. But as he was telling his story, I'm listening to him, and he was talking about his childhood abuse and all these different things, and I mean some really dark stuff. And I forget exactly what I asked him, but I essentially was, "Hey, what was a childhood coping mechanism that you thought was normal at the time, and but now it's something you do now that's helping you, but you realize it's not normal?" And it was just, I don't know, it was probably one of my favorite questions I've ever asked in the podcast, and it just came about organically. Um,
Wow,
but
that's good.
yeah, um, so I want to ask you, like, what motivated you to join the military, and how do you think that motivation compares to what drives people to enlist today?
I think it's kind of a timeless motivation, to be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah,
Having the honor of serving your country, and also I was limited in the options that I saw in myself, just probably growing up in a small town, not seeing many jobs, period, just not exposed to a lot, I guess.
from Wisconsin, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So what do you think about what about your present self would your military self not recognize?
A lot, especially my relationship with alcohol. Very, very different than I thought it would be. I was like all about partying and drinking in the
Yeah.
military. I think also just how responsible I am and how consistent I am, really, in that I actually love myself. And I'm learning to love myself more. I didn't really think that was possible.
Yeah, I was. That's actually a good point because I was going to ask you about how do you think you talked about like your responsibility and just loving yourself more and just really being more authentic. How do you think that's impacted your present day personal professional success?
I think it's like it's helped me because I just like I know I have to like I want to share things out of love instead of fear. I'm not posting every day because I'm scared like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be relevant anymore." It's like I'm doing it because wow, like I love the response. I love the engagement. I love how this helps the community. I think that's really helped me.
No, that's good. So, if we could go back to your last day in the Navy, what would you say to Jenna the day she gets out of the Navy?
Girl, buckle up. You're in for a crazy ride. You thought it was going to be like calm and chill. Wow, it's gonna be wild.
So, was it 2017? Is that roughly when you got out?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
summer.
So, if I were, let's just say that one of my favorite shows is Quantum Leap, and I'm so sad it got canceled.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, with Caitlin Bassett. By the way,
Yes.
I got something for you later on that I think's gonna make you smile. But if I were to go back to 2017 and if I just ran into like Jenna as she's like walking out of the final out processing building or admin, whatever. If I asked you like what are you running from and what you're running toward, as you reflect back, what do you think that response would have been?
I would probably at that time said like I'm running away from the limits of the military.
Mm.
Um, the personal limits of not seeing myself become a leader and not seeing myself being able to grow in that environment. Also, I'd say I'm running towards love. I like got out of the military and went and lived with my boyfriend, who's now my husband. So, and gosh, we were only dating for like 5, 6 months, and luckily turned out good. A good
Yeah, no, good
inkling
for
I
you guys.
had.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say definitely love.
No, that's all. You talked about the beliefs, the limiting, the limitations of the military. The military is great. I love the military. I've been in for 22 years, but yeah, there are a lot of limitations. But just based off your response, how do you think how can someone uncover for themselves the places where they are not free? I know it's kind of a deep question, but I don't know. I think it's just right for you.
How could someone uncover? What
Yeah,
do you
for
mean by that?
themselves because I think a lot of people don't necessarily realize that they're limited or there's some type of invisible bonds or shackles. It takes self-reflection, but yeah, just how can someone uncover for themselves the places where they are not free?
Yeah, I think when like a fish doesn't know it's in water until it's out and it's
Mm.
realizing like, oh, that's what I was in this whole time. You don't understand what you're in, and even yourself, you're gonna go through this. Like you don't understand you fully, you can't see what you're in the military until you're out. And when you take that step and you look back, you're going to have a totally different view of it. And I know you can't picture that right now, but you're absolutely going to. And it's going to be interesting, and you're going to see where maybe you thrived, what you loved about it, and then also you're going to leave some stuff behind too that that you don't want to take with you into your next chapter. So I think really that if there's a way to step away or to view your current circumstance in a different light, that's an opportunity that you should take if you can. It's hard. It's going to be different. It's going to look different for everyone. Um, so yeah, that's hard to give advice about.
No, it's good. Um, I want to go back to you were talking about with your current profession, just working with the nonprofit and all the amazing women that you've been able to network and collaborate with. You mentioned you have a mentor now, and mentorship's a very important just thing, not just to me but to a lot of people. And I think we're mentored by people that who never even know that they're mentoring us, people we've never met. But what impact has Shannon Kent had on you?
Wow, I mean, her story, it was one of those moments when you realize, like, how have I been living my life? That's a good example of how to step outside of yourself, is to really dive into someone else's life.
Mm,
And I learned about her story through her husband and Marty's book, which wasn't a personal account. It was whatever they could find out about her and write it. And I think they did a phenomenal job. But it really pulled me out of my own life and be like, what area could I be doing more? What could I be, finding more purpose or deepening that purpose in? So yeah, it it really had a big effect. She was an incredible person.
yeah. No, and your episode with Marty Scufflin was fantastic, and I learned a lot just by listening to that one episode.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And what did you say again? It's about you can step out. You talked about like the best thing to do is to live out or step out, and
Yeah, just try to step back, and really view your world in a different light if you can, or even through someone else's eyes, depending on how you like to do things. I'm a writer, so I love to write
yeah,
like from a different perspective and look in. But you could do that for reading, through just conversation with someone, or taking a trip somewhere else.
no, it's good. I want to segue that into what do you think? What do you consider one of the most worthwhile investments for younger veterans?
I would say invest in community. Absolutely, finding those around you that can support you, because you're gonna need that. Letting your family know that you're gonna have you might have a hard time, and also, if you can, therapy, some sort of therapy. That's going to look different for everyone, but just some way to really process what you just went through.
No, it's that's a great point because I remember at the Military Influencer Conference, you were facilitating panels and on panels, and it was all veterans who look pretty young. And I think oftentimes we think about veterans, it's we typically think of these grizzled old men, and it's like, no, man, there's 25-year-old female veterans who served, and maybe they only did 4 years, but they still served and accomplished a lot in those 4 years. They're searching for something outside of the military as well, need that connection. Community is the perfect word. I love that you said that. That's yeah, spot on. um
Yes. Yeah.
so how can we as active duty military and veterans empower ourselves to make a difference against a never ending number of hurdles and roadblocks?
I think the best thing to do is, just take that next challenge and don't try to get weighed down by all of them. We're
Yeah,
Some of us just look at, like, oh, I got out. Do I really want to go back to school and start all over? And it's like, don't look at it like a 4 or 3 year degree, whatever it's going to take you. Just look at like what you're doing this year. Take that first year of school. Just don't try to look ahead. I mean, plan ahead, but don't be overwhelmed by the future, because that time's going to pass no matter what.
yeah.
You might as well be working towards something you love.
So um speaking of school and working towards something you love, this is just well timed on your part. I had to write this down because I wasn't gonna be able to remember it. But your degree is in public policy, and with your background as an intern for the House Committee, what's the outsized cheat code people can use to ensure our military voices matters to elected Congress people?
So when you're calling Congress, how to get, their attention, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
That's tough, because I was one of those interns answering the phone, and since it was a committee you were calling, I would just tell you to go call your own congressman, where another intern would answer and tell you they can't help you. So the cheat code is you have to ask for something.
Mm.
If you ask your representative for something, they have to give you an answer. So a lot of people just call and complain or write letters and
Oh,
just complain, which it's very warranted of why you're complaining, but you need to ask for something because the complaints are just going to go in like a noted file. But say, hey, if I get approved for this, that's going to allow me to be in this program. Can you assist with this? They will respond to you. It will take time.
no, that's good. I thought that was an interesting like nugget about you that I'm not sure how much you've talked about that, but and I don't know where I came across that, but just something I was like, that's very interesting, and I'd love to know more about that, or at least about that time.
Yeah, that's what ignited my passion for wanting to help veterans and really help me solidify my identity as a veteran, even because when I went into that office, they were all really proud, like saying, "Here, this is our intern. She's a Navy veteran." They'd introduce me. I don't know if they just wanted to show, like, "Hey, we have veterans working here," or, I was like that token, whatever. But a lot of them seemed genuinely curious about my experience.
Was there like a specific aha moment where you felt like you finally realized the identity you had as a or had as a veteran or wish to have?
I felt like, yeah, that kind of was like, okay, yes, like I'm a young veteran, and that's grabbing people's attention. I
Yeah.
saw how I got attention about that. But really, I after college, I think it was like one of the first days we were all introducing ourselves, and I was like, "Hey, I'm Jenna. I was a Navy veteran. I was on aircraft carrier, blah blah blah," and like, I just got like looks of like confusion or like whoa, it was kind of just like really strange looks. So I never said it again. But then I did my internship 2 years later, and I still kept quiet about it, but I like kind of kept that in my back pocket.
Yeah. No, that's good. I have a few more like kind of serious questions, but I got some good like fun ones that I want to close it out with. And um,
Yes, I love them both.
yeah, happy belated birthday because I know you turned 30 within the past month, and I appreciate you again just kind of going back. You said I have like this curious or this youthful energy or whatever, and thanks for that because it's just I think my passion drives that for you. I'm 13 years older than you, but you're someone I look to as a mentor because there's just a certain, and I've told you this, I think when we had a chance to talk at Meg, there's just a certain like poise about you. And it's just really cool that stoic in a way. But, um, what's the, like, in your opinion, what's the right mindset for people trying to solve problems that seem way bigger than us? Because I think you have a good idea of kind of like how to solve problems or at least a way ahead, and that's a great skill to possess.
Yes, I think if you have this big problem and you're trying to solve it and you're just yelling, screaming at everyone about this issue, you're not really going to solve it. You might gather a few people to be on the journey with you to like help you. It's a great way to get attention or an awareness about your issue, but you need to start right outside your front door. You need to look at problems, like many problems that are related to that, or what's in your neighborhood that you could help, or what's in your community. What could you start right there
Hmm.
that could eventually get bigger and match this problem, or how could you build something in this system you're trying to take down to foster whatever that. Okay, so like my example is like, I see the veteran community as my big problem, like the toxic veteran
Mm-hmm.
community as my big problem, and I want to take it down, but I'm not really going to be able to do that from the outside. I got to be in it. I got to be a part of it. I got to find like-minded people, connect with them, try to set that tone of positivity, and we're not just going to be complainers. We're going to be proactive about things, and I did that by just walking out my front door. Like, really, that's just posting on Facebook, starting that group, and then posting on Instagram. Like, the ball is rolling. It's going to eventually become something really big, and even bigger than the problem that I'm trying to take down.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I don't ever do this, but it'd be hilarious at the same time. Imagine if you uh, posted something, you're wearing a t-shirt or holding a sign that says more veteran than you, like
Oh my gosh, I should.
just to troll people.
Oh, I really thought about doing that.
No. Um, I'm gonna jump into some lighter topics, but before we do that, is there anything you want people to know just about the veteran community, or just or any topics about that specifically you just wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I think the veteran community is really changing, and I loved Mick because I love the Military Influencer Conference because it's such a diverse
Mm-hmm.
representative of so many different people, lots of women, lots of younger people, lots of older people. It just shows that our community is so diverse, and that veterans are younger, they can be younger, and we don't all have to be a part of the old boys club. There's so many options for whatever you're into in the veteran
Yeah,
community.
and it was very inclusive and just welcoming. I mean, it was insane to me. I was overwhelmed in a good way, and I wasn't sure how to just take it because everyone was so polite to me, and I'm just thinking like, all right, and they didn't ask for anything. They just were being very genuinely polite, and I was like, this is just, I don't know, it's just crazy. It was crazy to me.
Yes, yeah. I think a lot of times we think of our interactions as
Yeah,
transactional, like especially in the podcast world. Like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna have you on, and then they're like, oh, well, I have to have you on, sort of thing. Like everything's a transaction, and there it is, really refreshing. It's like people are just genuinely curious, and
yeah.
how can they help?
No, that's good. All right, you're right. You ready for some lighter questions?
Hit me.
Hit me. When you think of a movie image that depicts leadership, and it doesn't have to be military, but any movie image, who or what comes to mind?
I don't know why, but like Mean Girls,
So I love. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
right? I mean, they really talk about
Mm-hmm.
leadership. Like Katie went from being a
Caddy.
nobody to taking over the whole school. Like
Yeah.
that's not a leader. I don't know.
It was October. What was October 3rd? What's the date with Aaron Samuels?
Yeah, I think it is October 3rd.
So I've told people I think that movie should be like part of leadership curriculum because it shows how jealousy and gossip can really destroy an entire institution and ruin lives.
Yes. Yeah, it really can. It's really an example. And when she took it too far and then she lost, some of her people under her. Did you really say that? I don't is that where I got that from? I don't know why Mean
I
Girls came in
I
my head.
talk about it a lot, so I don't know, dude. It's one of my. It seriously is one probably in my top 5 movies of all time, and
It's good.
yeah, but yeah, I really do preach to people that the whole thing about how jealousy and envy and slander and all these things, how detrimental it is. Um, yeah, there's a big fight scene and everything, but yeah, I do reference that movie a lot. To write a crush letter to one Netflix character, who would it be?
Netflix character.
Mm-hmm. Or it
Trying to
could
think of
be
what.
any, Amazon Prime or Hulu or just,
Okay.
yeah, I'll open up the aperture a
Someone I have
little.
a crush on. Oh my gosh, see, I like I don't know. I read books more. I guess that's where I would
Okay,
develop a
perfect.
crush
Oh, that's
instead
great.
of
That's a
like a.
great detour. So, who would you write your crush letter to, book wise?
Um, and no one's gonna get this reference. Have you ever read Pillars of the Earth?
Mm-mm.
Um, yeah, yeah. Again, I don't know. I guess I just don't have really. Okay, what's yours? Maybe this will help me.
I'm gonna be honest. I hadn't thought about that. So, hmm, Netflix. I don't really. I'm not even sure what's on Netflix. This is just a new question that I just started asking.
Yes. Okay, the last show I watched was the one with Kirsten Bell, and it was like nobody asked for this. They were podcasters, her and her sister.
I haven't seen that. Hmm, that's a good one.
I guess
Kristen Bell.
the guy on there, he was like her crush. He was a rabbi, and it was just like I don't know. I'll say he's my crush.
Okay, no, that's good. What's a new? Please tell us like about a new friendship that from the past 2 to 3 years that's just has become a great friendship and how that friendship came about.
Oh, that's cool. Like the past 2 to 3 years. So my neighbor across the street at this house we were renting, she's what, 72. She became like my second mom. Being away from
Yeah.
my mom, always living far, she kind of took me in, just as someone, and it was just like this unlikely friendship, and I'd go over and just keep her company, or she would come over, and then she loved my dog would have sleepovers at her house, and her name is Nydia, and if
Oh,
she's listening to this, I love you.
you got to share it with her.
Yes.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that. I'm really excited. This is the one question I just cannot wait to ask, and I'm so ready. Is the Traitors still one of your favorite shows?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So think about all the military influencers or podcasters, however you want to phrase that. Which which military influencers would you put on that show?
I love this because this is something I do in my brain to try to fall asleep at night, is to like create my own perfect Bravo show, or like my own perfect Bachelor show. This is so much fun. Ooh, okay. So military influencer. We got to put Jocko on there. I
Okay.
think he would be like stone cold. I mean, can you imagine him as one of the traitors?
That would be I didn't I had in my mind who I thought you would say, but that was not any of that he was not any he wasn't a
No?
yeah.
Okay.
That's great. I love that. That would be amazing.
Right? He would be so
He
cool.
looks like a so I love the Jason Bourne movies with Matt Damon, not with Jeremy Renner. But Jocko to me looks like one of those assassins that from Europe that you see in the movie. Like he's just at a cafe and gets like a random text and like he just picks up and like leaves. That's what he looks like to me.
Yes. Yes. I could see that, just like emotionless.
Yeah.
Like,
And I've
let's
met him in
go.
person. Uh,
Really?
and
Is he like
he's
huge? What is he like?
he's shorter than I thought, but he's wider. Like, and he's built like a freaking tank. But it's
I can
weird.
see
Like there
that.
is like this aura about him. It's just he was super nice, super humble guy, but um, he definitely looks like he could do some damage.
Yes. Yeah. I could see that. Um let's see who else. Who would be a good faithful, someone that's, really honest. And then again, like I'm drawing a blank on people. I could see like David Goggins on there being
Mm,
faithful, like, we gotta take these traitors down.
yeah,
Who did you think
Zach
of?
Bell,
Oh yes. Oh,
just for
he would be
entertainment.
so
I think
fun.
like
You know,
um,
he would be the person doing like shenanigans on the side. Just like using that as his way to like see if someone slips up.
so he's an underrated comic. I know he's known for a lot of things, but I
He's
told him that
funny.
I was like, man, you're a funny guy when I was talking with him in Atlanta.
Yes, I feel bad because when I saw him, I was It was like the last night was like a really rough night, and I was crying, and I was
Why?
like, "I'm sorry to bring down the mood." Oh, I'll have to tell you
All right.
later. Just like just the built up emotions. It was a lot.
Yeah. All right. Pick one more person for the Traitors. And, so two more. One of them will
Oh,
be
I'm
your
gonna
crush
go.
from the Kristen Bell show.
I don't even know his name.
Yeah.
The rabbi
The guy
dude.
with the rabbi with no name. That's his name. The rabbi
Yeah,
with no name.
yeah. I would say I'd like to see Jennifer Marshall on that.
So she's gonna be on my podcast on later this month. So
That's so cool.
her and I, we were in, I'm an actor as well, and we met on the set
That's
of
right.
on Hawaii Five O, and she is one of the kindest people. She sat with me on that set that day and just talking to me about acting and trying to do stuff while you're in the military. And um, man, I'm a huge Jennifer Marshall fan and have nothing but the ultimate utmost respect for her. She's amazing people.
She's awesome. And meeting her in person, she's like just exactly how you would picture her. Just
So you can't use her because
so
knowing
warm.
her, she'd be the host or the hostess of the show. So since she's missed everything. So
Yes.
anyone else you want to throw in there?
Yeah, she would be a great host. Who else is like military influencer?
Or military
Hmm.
related. It doesn't have to be necessarily an influencer.
Right. Oh, the guy, Tom Tran, who is the comedian.
That speech, that story he told at the dinner,
Yeah.
man. Oh God, that was so good. He was so good. Yeah.
It was awesome.
All right. Last question. And then I'm gonna open up to you for some questions or because yeah, like this mastermind. Look at you. If there's a giant billboard with your message on it for the world to see, and everyone had to see and read it, where would you want the billboard to be, and what would you want your message to say?
Oh, where's summer? People get in traffic a lot. Probably on that one highway between San Diego and LA.
Oh, the 101 or the
Yes.
405. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. That place or like just actually coming onto like Norfolk Navy Base.
Yeah.
There's so much traffic there. And what would I want it to say? Probably like a quote from I can't even think of his name. See, I'm so bad with like just on the spot.
That's all right. How about it says the bird lady or your leadership message because like the bird clock lady or something like that.
Oh my
Or
gosh, no, I'm not.
I know what it could say. Your leadership with this. I think this ties into veterans and cliques and veterans or whatever. It could say you can't sit with us, just referencing Mean Girls.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, but that's not the
I
message
know,
I
I know,
want to
I know, I
spread,
know, I know.
You just
Like
you
we need
got to
to
have some
break the stigma of you can't sit with us.
right,
We need to
right,
make
something like
inclusion fetch.
yes. Oh, you know what I saw a billboard for and I thought it would be funny. Just to it's just a website and it says I hate jennacarlton.com. And
Someone
then
wrote
people would
that.
be like, "No, no, it's an idea for the
Oh,
billboard."
I was like, damn, man, how could anyone hate you?
Right, but like wouldn't you see that and be like, "Whoa, what's up with her? Like I got to check out this website." And it immediately brings people to you.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm gonna secretly create that website.
Yeah.
Hey, do you have any parting thoughts, parting shots that you want to share?
Parting thoughts. I'm just grateful to be here.
Thank you.
It's the end of a very long day. It was, we got an extra hour today. So glad I got to spend it with you
Thank you.
and, just sharing stuff with your audience. I'm actually a little rusty on the podcast game, but it's always like riding a bike, getting back into it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how many you've been a guest on. I saw your one on a guest on one yesterday, or it got released yesterday. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I haven't checked it out. But even when I was like researching you and have all my notes about you, um, yeah, you've done quite a few. It seems like.
Yes. Yes, and I love it because it's, I always take something away from it, whether it's, something that was asked for me or something that we talked about
Yeah.
that really just sparked something new, and then I can use it to share with others.
The next time, have other topics that I can, if we ever do this again.
Yes. Well, I gotta have you on my show whenever I come back.
Okay. Yeah, like I had notes about Jenna. Wanted to be intel, ended up as weather, from Wisconsin. Went to St. Mary's College American or Maryland. Uh,
Nice.
I don't know. I don't even know why I wrote this. It just I just put really likes Kesha. Uh,
Yes.
that's a note that I
That's
have on here.
funny.
Really likes Kesha. I don't. Uh,
I do. I'm a Kesha super fan.
Served on the Harry S. Truman. Hey, I have something on here that if you ever want to talk again, I had dealing with unknown struggles and then separately inner battles, and I think those would be probably separate, like focused episodes. But
Yes. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll leave on is just, I think when we get out of the military, we have this image of how our life's going to look, and
yeah,
then those kind of unknown struggles pop up, and anyone who's going through that, just understand like that's normal. Any transition is going to be rocky. Um, Reach out for help, and it's not a you thing. It's not you. It's a transition thing.
that's good. Love it. What can I do for you? How can I best serve you?
Keep doing what you're doing. And I'm really excited to see where you continue to take this. And yeah, just keep sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.